know that we have seen all of them briefly, but we're going to go into detail now. Basically, an object is a reusable entity that is based on software specification that you create by the bespoke toolset and toolset application. A specification or specs is a complete description of an E1 object, and these specs can be thought of as metadata. So obviously each object has its own specification, and that is stored on both the server, central objects, as well as the workstation, replicated objects. Some specifications describe types of objects. For example, data structure specifications can either be a business function data structure starting with a D, or a processing option template structure starting with a D, or even a media object structure. Media objects, we didn't see that yet, but media objects allow you to attach all kinds of documents, pictures, whatever, videos to records. Yeah? Those are media objects. Those will typically use the CLOPs and the NLOP type, even MLOP types are supported. So the architecture is object-based, which means that the discrete software objects are the basis for all applications, and that developers can reuse objects in multiple applications. So we have seen this concept already. For example, you could have an application calling a business function, but also a UBE possible. You might want to submit your report from an application. Similarly, every application needs to have at least one business view at least one table, a table at least one data dictionary item. That is how all these objects fall into each other. The use of objects allows JDE to provide a true distributed processing functionality, and we use the native toolset to create and edit these objects. So we have seen the reports, the batch applications, UBE, business functions, BSFN, business views, BSVW, data dictionary items, DD. This is a non-object librarian object, very important. Data structure, BSTR, event rules. Actually, those are not objects, should not be in that list actually. Interactive applications, APPL, media objects, if it's data structures, it should be in the list, and tables, TDLE. That's what I explained earlier. You can have all of these in one application, and that application in itself will be calling a UBE, for example. In that way, other way around is not possible. A report can never call an interactive application. That's logic everybody understands. Objects can all be linked to each other. Mentioned already a couple of times the storage of these objects. So they are stored in two places. We have a central repository for the central objects. These central objects reside in a central location from which you can deploy them. Hence, we call this the deployment server. Other objects, such as specifications, are stored in the database. Still others, like the DLLs and the source code, are just stored on a file server. In your local installation, you will find a source and an include directory, and also a lib directory that contains all of these libs. On the other side, any machine, workstation, or server for that matter that runs E1 stores replicated objects. So this is a deployed version of the central objects. A copy of these central objects must reside on each development workstation and server that runs E1. The path code, also seen this morning, indicates the directory in which these objects are located. Okay, now we're coming to the good stuff. To move this object between the server and the workstation, you use the check-in and check-out options in the JDE OMW. So when you create a new object, obviously it doesn't exist on the deployment server. It only resides on your workstation. And only when you check it in to the server, it will be available to you, but also to other people to access it or to build a package out of it. So when you check out an object, all the object specification records, a collection of data that defines any one object, are copied from the server to your workstation. So in the OMW, in the middle window, you see all these action buttons. So we have the checkout button, the check-in, erase checkout. For example, you have checked out something and you are not happy with the changes. You're not going to check it in, obviously, but you will do an erase checkout. The top one is the release token. You release the token of an object, you make it available to somebody else to work with it. A get brings down the specifications of an object without checking it out. Yeah. For example, you have an object and you want to see how is it working in another part code, for example in production. You can do a get from production and get it into your local workstation without checking it out, from production, for example. The most important one, the design button. Clicking the design button will take you to the appropriate design aid. Then this save location. We can have a save location which is a real part code, save location part code, but you can also save your objects in XML format on your local disk, for example, and import them from them to another machine or to another client if that's even possible. And this is the restore, so save and restore. So this object management workbench is the primary component of the change management system in E1. Everybody knows what a change management system is, I hope. And this OLW, it automates many of the change management activities. For example, you would from OLW check out and check in your changes, but also from there you would transfer it to another part code. When I create an object, initially, I would do that, load into DV910 as a developer, and I would then check this into the deployment server. Now it will exist as a central object, but also only in the DV910 part code. To bring your changes from DV910 to the next part code, for example, prototype 910, you need to transfer the specs from DV to PY. And these transfer activity rules are also handled from within the object management workbench. Right? So when you transfer the object from DV to PY, it will move these specifications to the next part code. And then again the next part code, and again the next part code that resides in production. Everybody understands that, yeah? Transfer activity rules versus check-in, check-out. Check-in, check-out always goes like this. Transfer, promotion, and demotion goes always the other way around. In the object management workbench, everything starts from a project. You cannot do anything without being in a project. So projects are composed of objects and owners. You see that already. If you look into your OLW. project management workbench. So everything starts from an OMW project. That is what you see here. And if you just drill down into it, you will see that it is composed out of objects and owners. Owners consist out of the users that have access to these projects with different roles. For example, with the developer role, I would be able to check in, check out, and modify, but I would not be able to transfer my project. With an administrator role, I would be able to transfer the project. And likewise, those two objects. To add a new project, you always go to the Add button. Start for one of your projects. Give you some defaults. System codes. So you see, my project is created, and it is created in status 21. Yeah? 21 is the start status of a project. At this moment, I'm only an originator to the project, so that means I cannot do anything with this project. So I'm going to select myself and change myself to be developer on the project. And now I see all my buttons here. But also I add myself again to the project. And make myself also BBC administrator. So I can have multiple roles in this project. So when I create a new object, and I do a quick one just to show you. I created a new data structure from within my project, and you can see that it shows up with the red checkbox, which means I have the token, and in color, which means it's currently checked out. Yeah. So if I check the object librarian for this object, T56 PR1, it exists now in the object librarian for sure. But if you go to the detail table, you will see that the path code, it exists only in a checked out status. So that means it doesn't exist in the central objects yet. And only when I now will check it in, you see that the checkout actually the other way around, sorry. So the check mark means it was checked out, and the color means the token is associated with it. So now after checking it in, the check mark disappears. So the object is now checked into the center of objects. You should be able to see that here. The indicator changed, so it's indicating now that the object is now existing in the center of objects DV910. If I was now satisfied with this object, and I want to move it to another part code, you would click the advanced project status. We have some custom. You can define as many statuses as you want. Or you would just go from 21 to 26. I can check here. And so now you see that my object, after transferring it, also exists in the next hardcode, which is PY910. Everybody understands the concept, yeah? So that means Adrian now could start to build this package for PY, for example. So now the object is available in PY central object, so it means you can start to build a package.